Clearout of fringe players at Tottenham now inevitable under Conte. Tottenham avoided an historic FA Cup upset, coming from behind to beat League One Morecambe 3-1, but the afternoon felt like another nail in the coffin for many of Antonio Conte's fringe players. Not for the first time, Spurs' dismal second string was bailed out by their big guns as Harry Kane, Lucas Moura and Oliver Skipp came off the bench with 20 minutes remaining to rescue the third-round tie. Harry Winks equalized with a fortuitous free kick, which looked like an overhit cross, on 74 minutes before Lucas gave Spurs the lead, pickpocketing a defender, running from the halfway, and rounding the goalkeeping. Kane made the game safe with a cute late finish, but the eventual comfort of the scoreline could not disguise the host's deficiencies for the majority of the game. Conte picked 8 of the same side that started the humiliating 2-1 defeat to NS Mura, the lowest-ranked side in Europe this season, and Spurs were familiarly underwhelming. Anthony O'Connor headed Morecambe in front from a corner on 33 minutes and were short of quality, energy, and ideas as they labored to get back in the game. Admittedly, teams often struggle when managers make wholesale changes, but no team's level seems to drop more than Tottenham's when their stars are missing. Dele Alli and Bryan Gil arguably deserve some sympathy for having to play out of position up front, although they should still have had the quality to cause Morecambe far more problems. Tanguy Ndombele, meanwhile, was abject and booed off by his own fans, and Giovanni Lo Celso, Winks, Matt Doherty and Ryan Sessegnon were short of quality on the ball and lacking fight off it, while Pierluigi Golini and Japhet Tanganga were at fault for the goal. Joe Rodon looked uncomfortable, although may have been carrying a knock. Lucas, Kane, and Skipp immediately added more quality on the ball, but, more importantly, more energy and fight. They just looked like they wanted it more. Spurs' second string have underperformed in cup games for over 2 years now, but Conte's appointment offered everyone a clean slate and a chance to turn around their Spurs career. It is now more obvious than ever that many of these players simply need a fresh start away from Spurs. Ndombele's last stand? Tanguy Ndombele was booed off by his own fans when he was replaced by Skipp, surely hastening the midfielder's eventual departure from the club. Ndombele was near the far touchline when the fourth official held up his number and he trudged over towards the technical area at walking pace. Even as the boos began, and Japhet Tanganga and then Kane, who was also coming on, tried to cajole Ndombele into speeding up his exit, he made no effort to quicken his pace before heading directly down the tunnel. It is not hard to find an example of the Tottenham crowd influencing the departure of an unloved character. Nuno Espirito Santo's sacking followed boos and jeers from the crowd for the head coach during the 3-0 defeat to Manchester United. But Spurs cannot sack Ndombele and they may not even be able to find a buyer this month, while the Frenchman is already way down Conte's pecking order. It is therefore not clear if the supporters' fury will really change anything about Ndombele's position, at least in the short term. Witnessing the stadium turn on the frustrating and underwhelming club record signing, though, it did become much hard to envisage him eventually making a success of his time at Spurs. Spurs' lack of striker back in December, Conte admitted that it would be difficult for him to rest Kane for any game until the level of the rest of his squad had sufficiently improved. Kane was finally given a rest against the Shrimps, but Tottenham's toothless display until his introduction only supported Conte's point. Dele and Gil did not lack effort, at least compared to some of their teammates, but neither looked comfortable playing up front in Conte's 3-5-2 system, and Spurs' attacks were labored and predictable until Lucas and Kane entered the fray. Spurs' lack of a second striker leaves Kane under intense pressure and hampers the side, while Dele's chance of recovering some form and Gil's development are also being hampered by being forced to play out of position. Admittedly, Steven Bergwijn and Heung-min Son were both injured, but clearly if Spurs want to fight on more than one front, they cannot keep relying on just one